Good morning students, my name is Aditya and I'm going to teach you from e-learning. Now the topic we are going to discuss today is Introduction to Euclid Geometry of class 9. So first of all, in this topic what I'm going to explain you is what is geometry. So let me just break it in two parts. So the first part is geo. So geo means related to earth, right? Now the next part, metry, means measure. So here we are going to measure the dimensions of earth, right? So we are going to discuss the earth measurement. So there are various mathematicians which have dealt with the various axioms and postulates related to measurement of the geometry of earth, right? So there's one scientist, or you can say a mathematician, which is discussing this geometry word. Now you all know about Egypt. Let me just write it clear. So in Egypt they used to make pyramids, right? So the first thing is we have to deal with the surface of the pyramid. So the surface of pyramid can be triangular or you can say of square, right? So they build pyramid with the bases like triangle and square. So what they done is just simply join them on the top with a single point. So this is the basic structure of pyramid, right? So its base is now triangle. So it is a structure. Now on the base of square, they have done the same thing here. They have just converged them to a single point. So this is also a pyramid, but its base is actually square. So this is how the old people actually generated pyramids of different base in the ancient times. Yeah. So students, moving forward here, now अब हम यहाँ पे क्या डिस्कस करेंगे कि यहाँ पे मैंने एक स्ट्रक्चर ली है, ये एक ब्रिक है, राइट? सो इस ब्रिक में आपको तीन डेजिग्नेशंस दिख रही होंगी, जैसे कि लेंथ, ब्रेड्थ एंड हाइट. सो जो सिविलाइजेशंस थी पहले वाली, वो क्या करती थी, जो फिक्स्ड लेंथ, ब्रेड्थ और हाइट के रेशियो में ही सभी ब्रिक्स को यूज करती थी. सो द प्रीवियस सिविलाइजेशन ऑफ इजिप्ट एक्चुअली यूज्ड the ratio of length, breadth and height as 4:2:1 respectively. So जो previous civilization थी वो well planned manner में geometry को use करती थी, right? So अब जब सभी civilizations इतनी well planned structure में काम कर रही थी, that means old time में भी हमारे पास geometry के related जो proofs थे वो present थे, right? So अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. अब एक मैथमेटिशियन था जिसका नाम था थेल्स, राइट? सो थेल्स जो था उसने वेरियस मैथमेटिक टूल्स प्रोवाइड किए थे जिससे हम ज्योमेट्री के अंदर अच्छे से कैलकुलेशंस कर सकें ज्योमेट्री को मेजर करने के लिए. सो अब सेम इसका आगे जो एक एंसेस्टर था जिसका नेम था यूक्लिड, उसने अपनी मैथमेटिकल बुक्स लिखी, 13 बुक्स, राइट? So in 13 books में उसने various elements को define किया. So next topic which we are going to discuss is elements of Euclid books, right? That's all. So students, now moving forward here, we were discussing about Euclid here, right? So Euclid mathematician ने 13 books provide की थी जिसके अंदर उन्होंने elements को define किया था. So 13 elements define किए थे उसने 13 books में. Now actually Euclid collected all the known work and arranged it in his famous treatise, or you can say book. So Euclid ने 13 books में अपने elements के बारे में बताया. बाद में उन्हें इस elements से उसने axioms, यहाँ पे आपको ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा axiom term और postulates के बारे में. So what are axioms and postulates? That I'm going to tell you right now. So students, आगे बढ़ते हैं. अब मैंने आपको जैसे कि पहले एक्सप्लेन कर दिया कि जो यूक्लिड था उसने अपनी बुक्स में एक्सियम्स और पोस्टुलेट्स के बारे में बताया था. नाउ व्हाट आर एक्सियम एंड पोस्टुलेट्स? एक्सियम्स जो थे वो एक्चुअल में क्या थी, assumptions थी, राइट. सो assumptions जो हम मैथमेटिक्स में एक्चुअली करते हैं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल x इक्वल टू 2, y इक्वल टू 3, सो दीज आर एक्चुअल assumptions. सो जो साइंटिस्ट थे या मैथमेटिशियंस थे, उन्होंने क्या किया था, एक्सियम्स लिए थे जिसके अंदर हम वेरियस assumptions करते हैं मैथमेटिक्स के रिलेटेड, बट दे आर एक्चुअली नॉट रिलेटेड टू ज्योमेट्री. एंड ऑन द अदर हैंड इफ वी टॉक अबाउट पोस्टुलेट्स, सो पोस्टुलेट्स वो थे जो assumptions ज्योमेट्री से रिलेटेड होती थी. सो द डिफरेंस बिटवीन एक्सियम्स एंड पोस्टुलेट्स इज just depending on geometry. In this case it is not related to geometry, whereas in postulates it is related to geometry. Now moving on further, what we have to do is, again I am taking a brick here. अब इस ब्रिक के अंदर आप देखेंगे जो टॉपिक्स मैं आपको एक्सप्लेन करने जा रहा हूं. फर्स्ट इज बाउंड्रीज. अब आप देख सकते हैं ये जो लाइंस हैं जिनको हम एजेस भी बोल सकते हैं. इन एजेस से क्या होता है, ये वाला जो सरफेस है ये दूसरे सरफेस से अलग हो सकता है. एंड द इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज दिस line, or you can say the edge, has no breadth. So it is a breadthless. Actually we define a line as breadthless, right? So अब ये जो लाइन है ये दो सरफेसेस को डिफरेंशिएट कर रही है, अलग कर रही है. सो वी हैव नोन टू टू टॉपिक्स हियर नाउ, दैट इज बाउंड्रीज एंड द अदर वन इज सरफेस. नाउ next thing is this brick actually have three things, three dimensions, that is shape, size and position. So actually we can move a brick from one place to any other place. So this is all we have to know about a brick which got boundaries, which got surface, and depending on shape, size and position. So students, now I'm going to discuss the elements which Euclid has placed in its 13 books, right? So the first element here I'm going to discuss is a point is that which has no part. अगर मैं एक single point draw करता हूँ, that means it actually occupies no area. It is assumed that it actually occupies no area, but still there is a single nano area which it actually occupies. So if you read this line here again, then you will see that a point is that which has no part. So Euclid ने जब इस definition को explain किया तो उसने कुछ चीज़ों को explain actual में नहीं किया, like the thing part here. अब आप पूछेंगे कि part क्या होता है? Part means area. So if we talk about area, you can see this actually point has no area. So he just left the statement as it is without explaining the term part. So part is actually area. So briefly it's going to say that a point has no area. So it is a dimensionless thing. So moving on to the second element here, the second element says a line is breadthless length. So let me just simply draw a line here which is actually made from 2 points. So this line is actually having no breadth here, you can see here. So there is no breadth to it, so it is also called as breadthless length. Right, so now moving on to the third element here that says the ends of a line are points. As you can see here, I have taken 2 points, so the ends of a line are simply points. So this is the third element. Moving on to the fourth one, it says a straight line is a line which lies evenly with points. So let me just explain you, like if I just simply take 3 or 4 points, you can say, so let me join them like this. So you can see all the points actually coincide, that means they lie on a single line. So this is actually what the fourth one is saying, that a straight line is a line which lies evenly with points. That means it is lying evenly with all the points. That means all the points actually coincide with the line. Now moving on to the fifth part here, that is a surface is that which has length and breadth. Remember when I have taken a brick in the previous example, so जहाँ पे मैंने आपको एक्सप्लेन किया था कि एक ब्रिक के अंदर 3 चीज़ें होती हैं. एक तो होती हैं जो एजेस, जिनको हम बाउंड्रीज भी बोलते हैं, which actually separate the surfaces. सो जो बाउंड्रीज हैं वो सर्फेसेस को सेपरेट कर रही थी, राइट। सो अब यहाँ पे अगर देखेंगे हम कि जो सर्फेस है वो, अगर मैं सिंपली एक सर्फेस ड्रॉ करूं ऊपर वाला, सो आप देख सकते हैं इस सर्फेस के अंदर क्या क्या चीजें आ रही है। एक तो लेंथ इंक्लूडेड है और एक ब्रेथ इंक्लूड है। दैट मीन्स अ सर्फेस इज दैट विच हैज लेंथ एंड ब्रेथ। You can see here there is a length and breadth. So a surface is actually made from length and breadth. So students, the last two elements which were remaining here are, the sixth one says the edges of a surface are line. So again let me draw a brick and then the surface here. So I have told you the surface consists of length and breadth. Now this element says that the edges of a surface are line. As I have told you, these are the edges. So actually the surface has 4 edges. You can see here the first one, the second one, third one and the fourth one. So these edges are actually the straight lines, right, which are separating the surfaces from each other. Now moving on to the seventh one and the last one, it says a plane surface is a surface which lies evenly with the straight line on itself. Let me just simply draw it separate here. A surface, now this surface is actually lying on the straight lines. You can see here there are 4 lines and the surface is lying on the lines, the straight lines here. So this is what it is saying, that a plane surface is a surface which lies evenly with the straight line. You can see here that this surface is lying evenly with all the 4 straight lines. So this is the all 7 elements which is given by the mathematician. So students, I have explained you all the 7 elements given by the mathematician. Now one major note here which you have to consider here while discussing this brick structure here. Now you can see that solid, surface, line and point. So there are 4 topics and actually what I'm going to tell you here is that all the 4 topics here, like the solid, surface, line and points, actually go on decreasing when we are discussing about the dimension. Now you all know there is a 3-dimensional space like this in which we take x, y and z axis. This is a 3-dimensional. Now moving on to 2-dimension, like there is only 2 axes, that is x and y, and discussing the line, so there is only 1 axis. You can say x or you can say y. While discussing the 4th one, that is point, so there is no dimension to it. So when we actually move from solid to points, the dimensions are going on a decrease. If I just see the surface here, so let me just take a surface here. So there is 2 dimensions here. One is the length and one is the breadth. So there are 2 dimensions to it. So a surface is actually a 2-dimensional structure. While going to a solid here, so you can see here there are 3 dimensions to it: length, breadth and height. So this is a 3-dimensional structure if we discuss about solid. So you can see here the solid is a 3-dimensional, surface is 2-dimensional. While going on to a simple line, if I draw a simple line, so you can take only x-axis here, so the line is 1-dimensional. And finally if I discuss about a point, so it got no axis to it, like no x-axis, no y and no z. So it is a dimensionless structure. So that's all. Students, now I'm going to discuss the base of this chapter, that is Euclid axioms. So let me just define the first one here, that the things which are equal to same thing are equal to one another. Let me just explain you this axiom with an example here. So if it is given to us that area of triangle is equal to area of rectangle, then another thing which is given to us is that area of rectangle is equal to area of square. So you can see here that the area of triangle is equal to area of rectangle, then area of rectangle is equal to area of square. So clearly you can see, if I just give this equation as first and second, then from first and second we can conclude that area of triangle is going to be equal to area of square. So if one thing is equal to the same thing, then they both are equal to one another. This is what this axiom is saying, that things which are equal to the same thing, you can see the triangle is also equal to rectangle, then square is also equal to rectangle. So both the triangle and square are equal to rectangle, then both are equal to one another. So this is what the first axiom is going to say. Now moving on to the second one, it says if equals are added to equals, then the voles are equal. Let me just explain you with an example. If I got something 2 kg of two different things, and if I just simply add 1 kg to both, so what we are going to get is both quantities as 3 kg. So you can see I have added a equal quantity to two equal quantities, then the resultant is also equal. So this is what the second axiom is saying. If equals are added to equal, then the whole are equal. Now moving on to this third one axiom, it says if equals are subtracted from equals, the remainder are equal. So it is same to the previous one. Again, I'm going to take two different amounts as 2 kg. Then if I just simply subtract 1 from both sides, you can see I am subtracting the equal amount from the two equal amounts. So the resultant will be 1 kg per. So you can see if I subtract equal amount from two equal amount, then the resultant is going to be equal. So this is what the third axiom is saying. Now moving on to the fourth one, that says things which are coinciding each other are equal to one another. So let me just draw two lines here. If I just simply draw a first line, that is AB, and another one you call CD. So there are two lines, one is AB and the other one is CD. Now you can see they are of equal length and they can coincide each other. If I just simply merge these lines like something this, so you can see here they are actually coinciding each other. So you can see the fourth one is saying the things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. That means I can say this line segment AB is clearly equal to CD. Now moving on to the next axiom, which says the whole is greater than a part. So let me just explain you this with an example. Let me just draw a circle here and let me just give a name to the circle as A. Now there are two another circles. Let me just name them B and C. Now you can see this A is made up of B and C. So I can write A as B plus C. Right? So let me just reread this, that the whole is greater than the part. Now you can see that this circle A is made up of two circles B and C. Then clearly this A circle is greater than B, or you can say this A circle is greater than C. So you can see this is the part of a circle and this is the whole circle. So again we read it that the whole is greater than a part. That means this whole is going to be greater than part. That can be B or you can say C. So A is clearly greater than B or you can say C. So students, moving on to the last two axioms here. The sixth one says things which are double of the same thing are equal to one another. Now it's clear that if I just simply take two things which are double of the same things, then definitely they are going to be equal to one another. That similar case exists if I just simply halve both the things from a respective thing. So the last one says things which are half of the same thing are going to be equal to one another. So this was all about the Euclid axioms. Now in next topic I'm going to discuss about the Euclid postulates. So stay with these videos.